This is Farm Talk. Good afternoon, everybody. I'm Mick Kerr here in the North Dakota Corn Growers Studio, where we got some active weather down in southwest Nebraska, northwest Kansas. Just issued a severe thunderstorm watch down there, so some wild weather getting set to move into the Central Plains. We'll track into east of the Mississippi River Valley this weekend. So I guess we're just blessed to have some quiet, doggone windy, but quiet weather here up in the Dakotas. All right, we're going to visit now with a friend of mine I've had for quite a few years. He keeps bugs out of grain, and that's why he's Mr. Bug-Free Grain, Paul Drache of Central Life Sciences. Hello, Paul.
Hey, Mick, how you doing today?
I'm pretty good. You're down there in Colorado. Is it hot and muggy down there, or what's the deal?
Well, I wouldn't exactly call it hot and muggy right now. I mean, we're doing pretty good today. It's actually got some overcast. We had a little bit of a shower came through earlier today. Kind of thought maybe we get a little bit of that, what you were talking about in southwest Nebraska. But as usual, it passes us by.
Oh, you missed out on that. Yeah, quite a bit of rain in between Sterling, Colorado, and North Platte, and probably have some big boomers to talk about on your news tonight down there out of Denver. So, all right. Well, Paul, let's. Last fall, farmers produced a ton of grain, small grains, corn, beans, everything. A lot of that is still in storage. And when it comes to wheat and barley and things like that, I guess what should producers be looking at now that the bugs are out and the grains are still in the bin?
That's a good point. The first thing that they've got to do is they've just physically got to go and check the bins and make sure that they're doing all right. We're at that time of year where the bugs are going to start being in there. They're going to start multiplying, and if we've been busy. We've been busy getting the crop put in the ground, but we also need to pay attention to that crop that we harvested last year and put in the bins. We didn't probably see as much get treated as what we would have liked to. A lot of that is because the commodity prices were where they were at, and the farmers just didn't have the money to go ahead and to treat that. So now as we're looking at that grain, as it's going to sit there for a little while yet, we should be checking it. A couple things they can do. If they've got an infestation of bugs, they probably need to fumigate it. We don't deal in the fumigation side of the world, but, it is one of those things that they've got to do if they have to. If they can't turn the grain, literally moving it from one bin to another, which is where we could come in, and we could treat it with our Dicon or Dicon Plus if they've got bugs in it. And then they would give them that time frame. It'd kill the live bugs and then give them the residual protection that they need until that grain gets moved to market.
Well, you pointed out the economy, and one of the reasons why producers didn't sell that grain last fall or through the course of the winter was the value of that crop just wasn't there. The profit wasn't there. But the only thing worse than getting dockage because of weed seed is because of bugs. I guess you can't do much about the weeds, but you sure can do something about the bugs.
Well, we can. And, depending upon what the commodity is, as an example, with most of the malting barley, they won't even accept it with a live bug in there. And that's understandable. They don't, they want to keep everything as clean as they can. And so, you get a load rejected, that gets expensive as well. But the thing about it is that when you put grain in the bin, the one thing that you can't do is improve the quality, but you can protect that quality. And that's where we come in, is to protect that quality of the grain by using our line of products to keep the insects out. So,
at about what cost per bushel, Paul?
If we're looking at let's say that we're looking at wheat and we've got an infestation and we can move that grain from one bin to another and treat it with the Dicon Plus, which is a combination of our Dicon and our Sentinel, you're looking at a little over 4 cents a bushel. But what is that going to do for you? It's going to kill the live bugs that are in there, and it'll take those and get them out of the way. And then the Dicon side of that is going to give you that long-term residual, so that if that grain is going to be sitting in the bin, through the summer, it's going to be protected from that standpoint. And that's going to, like I say, it's going to be a little over 4 cents a bushel to do that.
Boy, and the dockage when you go from malting to feed barley is a lot more than 4 cents a bushel.
Yeah, no, we can't treat malting barley with Dicon Plus. We have to use Dicon D, the dry product, and that's going to be around that 4 cents a bushel too. But it's part of what we look at. A lot of the dockage, say on wheat, if you bring it in and it's got any kind of an infestation, if it's got any IDK or insect damaged kernels, it doesn't take long at all, and you surpass the cost of what it is that we do. And that's why we like to see the grain treated as it goes into the bin in the first place, which is, what we're going to talk about as we get, further into the season and as we start looking towards harvest time.
Yeah, well, they're combining wheat down around Wichita Falls, Texas, so I guess eventually that'll, sooner than we think, or sooner than we know, they'll be up here in the Dakotas. But it's
amazing how fast it works its way north.
You got it. All right, Paul, in the meantime, this is radio, so we can't show pictures of bugs on the radio, but what kind of bugs, what are their names, what should we be looking for here in around Memorial Day in the Dakotas?
Well, there's a couple different things. One of the ones that's most prevalent that you'll see particularly in corn is going to be the Indian meal moth. And the Indian meal moth is a moth, and it's small. You're looking at probably 1/8 of an inch, but they're going to be the ones that are creating all what I call that green mass that's up on the top of the corn bins, kind of a webby mass that they've created. So we're going to see that one up there on a lot of the corn bins. We have actually started seeing and getting some requests for soybeans as well on that, which is kind of a first. When we're looking at the wheat and the barley, a lot of times we'll see the sawtooth grain beetle and the red flower beetle. We do get some lesser grain borers, but, the other two, the sawtooth and the red flower beetle and the confused flower beetle are probably the three most prevalent that we'll see up in that part of the world. And you can go to our website, the bugfreegrains.com, and there is an insect ID app that is on there that you can go through, and you can take a look at them and try to identify them.
Pretty cool. All right. Well, thanks for that tool, Paul. Paul Drache, Central Life Sciences, the crop division. They're protecting the grain that you still have in the bin, and doggone it, there's a lot of it. You mentioned soybeans, there's a lot of soybeans still in the bin. Usually farmers, that's what disappears off the farm first, and there's still a lot of beans in the bin.
Yeah, and that's where, like I said, the only thing we've had any questions about on soybeans is going to be the Indian meal moth. Mick, another thing is we start getting into the season. I mean, we do have some empty bins out there. And the other part that we would look at is part of the program would be to pre-treat those bins with a product like the Dicon Plus and spray them down good and get that part of the process done as we start getting into the summer season. I never have been a big fan of waiting until the middle of July to start cleaning bins because I never liked to go inside those bins when it was that hot out. But,
it's only 120 in there usually.
Yeah, that's all. Good weight loss program.
Yeah, that it is. Hey, tell us a little bit about this new product you have, the Dicon D.
Well, so Dicon D's been around for a while. That's the dry product.
Okay.
That's what's approved for use on all of the malting barley. And it's the same thing as the Dicon IGR, the liquid, except it's a dry product. And it goes on at the rate of about 10 pounds per 1,000 bushels. And so you just get it into the grain stream and get it in there consistently. That's the key part with our products, is to have them consistently applied to the grain for that long-term residual protection.
All right. Well, we farm because we love the lifestyle. We farm to make money, to keep the family fed and clothed and happy. And yet, in these tough economic times right now, the downturn in the farm economy, the reason you want to make the most amount of money, and so you put the grain in storage, and it's probably still there. This year it's still there, but the bugs are coming out. So we sure appreciate the input and the help you're going to give producers here during the course of the season. And if guys want to get a hold of you and maybe get some of that stuff, how do they do that, Paul?
Well, there's a couple ways. Again, you can go to our website and you can track me back down that way. You go in, it's thebugfreegrains.com. Otherwise, you can give me a call. That number is 970-397-7600. 888-646-6145.
Gotcha. All right. Well, Paul, have a good Memorial Day weekend. Thanks for the insight and the tips on keeping the bugs out of the grain. We'll talk to you
Mick.
again here next month.
All right. Sounds good. Keep it safe.
All right. Will do. Thank you for the reminder. Paul Drache, Central Life Sciences. All right. Hey, well, we've used up time today. We will be back tomorrow. We will be visiting with the executive director of the Sheep Industry Association down there in Denver. Peter Orwick will join us tomorrow right here on Farm Talk. In the meantime, take Paul's advice, keep it safe, and keep farming. We'll talk to you tomorrow here in the North Dakota Corn Growers Studio. This is Farm Talk.